Welcome back to Taiwan Outlook. Joining us today is Professor Yen-Fen Tseng. Professor Tseng is the chairperson of the Sociology Department at National Taiwan University. Professor Tseng, we've been talking about the living condition and working condition of foreign workers in Taiwan. And some people say that we pay better to the foreign workers than other countries do. Do you think that's the case?
If we compare to countries in East Asia, that is true. But if we compare the wage level in Middle East, then we are somehow comparable. I think this issue is the policy of making sure that the foreign workers receive the minimum wage. It's really to protect our native workers. Because if the wage differences between native and the foreigners become so small, so large, then the dependency will be even stronger.
That's right.
So I think, basically, I myself think that's a good policy. We should keep that on.
So from the local labor's perspective, that's quite a good policy.
Yes.
But for the owner's perspective, apparently they were hoping to pay lower pay to the foreign workers.
Definitely. Yeah.
So do you think that government has taken a more balanced approach?
Yes.
In terms of deciding the wage?
Yeah, they should.
Okay.
I think so.
Another controversial issue is about immigrating the so-called workers from China, Chinese mainland. Because in some cases, the mainlander workers have better advantage vis-a-vis other foreign workers because the language, cultural similarities, and so on.
Yes.
Do you think that Taiwan should open up to the Chinese mainlanders to get the labor force we need?
I think that has been debated, but somehow now that is not the issue. I mean, you know, we have another population from mainland China via marriage channel, and they actually, a lot of them become workers too. Yeah. So,
but that's illegal, right?
No, they are
until
they
get the citizenship.
No, they actually can work. Like pretty soon. Now the policy changed for them to have easier time to find work and to have to be covered by social benefits, but delay their time for getting citizenship. So it's so-called 生活从宽。这个定居从严。
It's more difficult to get the residency, but it'd be easier for them to live here.
Yes. So actually, a lot of them are working, and if you now go to hospitals, especially, you will be offered 3 types of care workers. One is the native, which charge like 2,000 per day, and then you have the mainland workers, and most of them are, you know, spouses. They came as spouses of someone, and then they have lower wages than natives. And you have the third group, the foreign workers. Their wage is even lower than the mainlanders. So we already have workers from mainland China.
But in terms of different types of workers, you had blue-collar workers and also white-collar workers. Is our policy favoring these kind of blue-collar workers or against them in general?
I think every country all favors white-collar workers, but not so against blue-collar workers. I should say the differences of treatment in Taiwan toward blue collars and the white collars is really huge. So, you know, it's normal and natural to have differentiation because government wants to control the number of blue collar workers to come here and want to welcome higher scale laborers, should we call higher scale, not only white collar workers, because if we bring in a lot of white collar workers, they eventually compete with our middle class.
That's right.
So no government would do that. So they will specify the kinds of works they want, the kinds of workers they want to bring in, and those are like IT workers, the information technology workers, and professional workers, you know. So always we have this, we will see the differential treatment. But then in Taiwan, like what I say, that blue-collar workers cannot stay longer than 6 years.
That's right.
This is I think, really very, very restrictive.
In terms of immigration policy, is it hard for the foreign workers to get a permanent residence in Taiwan or even get a citizenship in Taiwan?
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
Yes, it's not possible. First of all, we have this new permanent residency policy that says that if a foreigner stay here for over 7 years, then and plus other qualifications, like you have to earn at least twice as the minimum wage, and other qualifications. But then the 7 years requirement really fail all of the foreign workers, because the blue-collar workers, I mean. Because they can be here just for 6 years.
That's right.
Legally, right? If you become illegal, then that doesn't count.
Okay.
And so it's not possible. And so this is a policy really intentionally to keep them away from coming.
Do you think that's a good policy, or do you think that something should be fixed or modified?
I think that should be modified because it's really very discrimination. Again, I say that we can accept policy that differentiate people who we welcome more in what number. Government always should do that. Otherwise, it's impossible to manage. However, have a zero immigration for blue-collar workers is really what I call classism. We really are against their becoming one of us. And I think if you turn around, very few civilized societies and democratic societies do this.
But is this policy specifically designed against the blue-collar workers, or are we more open to the white-collar workers?
Yeah, because white-collar workers can work and stay here for as many years as they want. So even you are just college graduates from say New Zealand, if you can find a job here as an English teacher in a private the cramming school, then they can stay. You can stay and just literally forever.
Other countries also having these kind of policies? I mean, some sort of discrimination against some types of workers?
As far as I know, that several countries like Japan, Germany, all are taking the same path as Taiwan is taking. But these countries have to pay high price for being so restricted. Namely, they have to really take a lot of illegal as a result. And actually, we have this illegal situation already. In Taiwan, we just close our eyes. I mean, the government really doesn't deal with it, and so just pretend that it's not existing. So for countries that are so restricting, they really have to balance their costs and benefit. So it's not like all winning situation.
You say that we have an increasing number of the illegal immigrants in Taiwan, and what kind of impacts of these kind of illegal immigrants will be on Taiwan society in general?
First of all, I think it's not very good for those people, for those workers to become illegal in first place. I think they are doing a lot of good to society, but we are taking advantage of their being illegal because, see, the employers don't have to pay their insurance, and they are not covered by any health insurance. They are in great danger. So, negative part is really on themselves. And that's what we need to care about, is their rights as workers.
But as we know that in Taiwan in recent years, there's a growing consciousness or awareness of those people, legal or illegal foreign workers to Taiwan. So are there many NGOs in Taiwan whose primary objective is to protect the rights, human rights of those people?
Yes. Basically, we have seen two types of NGOs. One is organized among themselves and often transnational. The best example is the Filipino organization, because they have been working in overseas for so long and in such huge number. So a lot of people get organized. They help around the regime. So it's not like they only care about, Hong Kong workers only care about themselves. They care about situations in Taiwan and Singapore. And another type of NGO is our local activists. And this has been really a growing force in terms of lobbying and monitoring what the government is doing. And the foreign workers are so vulnerable because they don't have political representation, but they are workers. See, so that's very contradictory. When you are when you are working in a society, but you don't have political rights, it's just like everybody can take advantage of your lacking political rights. There are no voices, no representatives. So NGOs have been involved, and not only on purpose. I mean, not only NGO just for them. As far as I know, many labor unions, composed of local workers, they care about foreign workers' situation, and I think they know they are in the same boat.
Okay.
If the foreign workers are so vulnerable, so easy to be exploited, then it's not a good news to local workers either.
That's right. Last year or the year before last year, there was a riot in Kaohsiung, mainly coming from the foreign workers, I wouldn't say camp, but residents.
But work as a camp, really.
Camp, yes, all right.
Really.
But that has created a lot of controversies surrounding Taiwan's labor policy or foreign workers policy in general. Do you think the situation improved in the past year also as a result of this kind of news erupting out of this camp?
I think so, because a lot of people are so shocked. The majority of the Taiwanese people are very conscientious, and they just didn't know that things like this can happen in today's Taiwan. It's really a camp, really. It operates, at least, like a camp. And the similar situations occur in other countries too, like in the Middle East. So I think the only difference is that in Middle East, they don't really care that much about foreign workers' rights, as far as I know. So I think since that incident, a lot of voices have been heard, and many eyes have been on brokers and the employers, and also media. I think is very protecting.
During that time, Taiwan's international image was tarnished. Because of this kind of incident. Do you think that the government has done a good job in the past few years in trying to improve foreign workers' situation in Taiwan in terms of passing laws, budgets, or policies?
I think they could really have more. They could done more. They could have done more, especially in the areas for NGOs have been advocating, like the right to change employer.
Yeah.
This, our government really hasn't done much,
Yeah.
although they claim they now have has a policy to allow situations, that are proved to be bad, then the foreign workers can change their employers. But then, if you look at the practices, you know it's simply impossible for them to change employers. So I think the reason why we don't see this type of abuse in local workers, no matter they are working as in household or factory or construction site, is because that they can change jobs.
That's right.
Right? They can vote by feet.
Yeah,
that's
right.
what we say. They can voice by leaving.
Yeah.
But so they can exit from the situation. But then if you cannot change your employers, you are there to be, abused.
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's one thing that we can do to improve the situation now. So when we come back, we will talk about other things that can be done by the government and also by the society in general to improve the foreign workers' working and living condition in Taiwan. So stay with us. We'll be back in a few moments.